Welcome to the Allison Lombardi Show, a podcast to help women discover and rediscover their confidence and style. I'm Allison Lombardi, and I am so glad you hit play on today's episode. This week on the show, I am speaking with Robin. She's in her early 50s, and until recently, her daily wardrobe dilemma was solved by a uniform. From her childhood days at Catholic school to her career in nursing, she really didn't have to think much about what to wear. On the precipice of being an empty nester, she is ready to find Robin again and embrace her unique and edgy style. During our conversation, we chat about the struggle of getting dressed when you don't have the right clothes, her desire to find peace with her wardrobe, and Robin confesses how many white shirts she actually has in her closet. Will her number shock you? It did me. Robin's creativity shines through in this chat, and I can't wait for you to get to know her. If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, please take a moment to do it now. I've got an incredible lineup of episodes for you in the coming weeks, and I don't want you to miss a thing. And if you enjoy listening to the show, I would be so grateful if you take a moment to rate it and leave a review. I know it seems like a silly thing, but your rating and review really do help, especially with new shows like this one. We're going to chat with Robin shortly, but first, will you join me and my producer, Lauren, for a coffee chat? Hello, Lauren. Welcome back to Coffee Chat.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. Also, listeners don't know this, but you've been away. You were away last week. And I've seen you in meetings earlier today, but this is my first chance to be like, hey, buddy, you're back. I missed you.
I missed you too. I feel like I've been gone a month. It felt like forever, but it flew by too. It always does.
It totally does. So I have two questions for you. One, I didn't even think to ask before you left, but I'm assuming you went to your favorite spot in Mexico.
We did. Yes. I can't stay away.
That's all right. Hey, once you find something that works, you just stick with it, right? The second thing that I wanted to ask you about was, did you read the books that you had hoped to read when you were away on holidays?
I failed miserably at reading my books this time. And you know what's funny is Craig always says he's going to take books and then he never does. And he's usually the one not reading on the beach. This time we reversed rules completely. He read the whole time and I just laid there and vegged out. And it was amazing. The weather was perfect. The water was perfect. I would pull up my Kindle and I would start to read, or I brought an actual book with me and then I would just read a couple pages and I just put it back and would stare at the ocean. It was bliss. It was just pure bliss.
I was going to say that also sounds amazing. I think sometimes we just need, I have these moments where I go, okay, no input in, literally nothing. I can't handle information. I don't want a podcast. I don't want to read. I don't want to watch a show. I just want give me white noise and I just need that moment. Yeah.
It was exactly like that. I felt like I was in this meditative state of just being in the moment, and reading for me, you know this about my personality, but I can't put books down. And if I start, it's game over. I will be reading for 8 hours straight. I go all in. I can read 5 books in a week. It's my, what do they call that? My yellow flags or something like that. It's my toxic trait. It's not a bad one per se, but it definitely would get in the way of just chilling on the beach. So yeah, it was nice to just be in the moment and not even, I don't know. I just laid there and didn't even think, just watch the waves. So good. So good.
I love that. Well, I thought while it's still fresh in your memory, we get a lot of questions about vacation and packing and clothing when you're traveling and all of those things. And since you are just back, I thought I would pick your brain a little bit about vacation packing. So my first question for you, because I'm always so curious, are you a carry-on only gal, or do you typically check your luggage?
Oh, I always check my luggage. I think if I had to be forced to do just a carry-on, I just don't think I could do it. And really, honestly, the main reason is because I like my products. I can't limit myself on the amount of products that I bring. And I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about, is this foundation going to be under the limit? I would just rather check a bag every time. So that's my philosophy on that.
I do not blame you. I don't fly very often. I flew last year to Dallas to meet you. Before that, I think it had been like 7 years since I had flown anywhere. And the whole like this many milliliters and this like in this size of a bag was, I'm going, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And I pared down all of my, like you say, everything. It's like you're second guessing. I'm like, can I bring mascara on the plane with me? Like the amount of decisions, I hear you. There's sometimes there's a lot of value in just accepting the easier solution. And hindsight, yeah, the easier solution would have been just check the bag. It'll be fine.
Yes. I'm a big person. I'm like, is this going to cause me more anxiety than it is money? If it's going to cost me more in bandwidth, then I'm like, I'm going to pay the $30 to check the bag.
100%. Words of wisdom for sure. So in terms of that luggage that is stowed under the plane, what does your vacation packing list process, what is your process, sorry, for deciding how much to pack, and then also how many outfits that you'll need for your vacation?
Yeah, so I have a very meticulous process. This is something that I taught my kids when they were little. It's something that Craig does now. So what I do is I sit down with usually pencil and paper, but sometimes I just do it on my phone. I'll open up a new note on my phone and I write out every day of the vacation. So let's just say it's a 6-day beach vacation, and I'll put like the 2 travel days on the 2 ends, and then day 1 and write out like what are the activities on each of these days. So for a beach vacation, that's easy because it's typically like I'm going to wake up, I'm probably going to have breakfast, work out, change clothes, go to the beach, come back to the room, change for dinner. So I know exactly what I need for those activities. And then I just kind of like count up, okay, I need 2 travel outfits for the day we leave, the day we come back. I need like 3 workout outfits. I need 5 or 6 dresses to wear to dinner. I need so many sandals, my flip-flops, my sneakers, and then all the other things like the bras, the underwear, that kind of stuff, pajamas. And I just kind of like make these categories and write down how many outfits I'm going to need in each of those categories so that I know going into it, these are the outfits that I'm going to need. And then I can see, can I, reuse pieces? Are there things that I can wear in more than one way? For instance, if we're going to breakfast every morning, I can probably get away with wearing the same pair of denim shorts if I want to, and they don't get dirty, right? So really just kind of maximizing then those pieces within that time frame so that I'm not having to overpack. And so I'm sure I'm not underpacking too by doing it this way. I know exactly what I'm going to need on each of those days.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so helpful. Yeah. So just going into it, thinking about what am I doing that I'm going to need to be dressed for? So like you said, a beach vacation is pretty chill, but maybe you're going on a hiking adventure. Maybe you're going kayaking. Like think about all the different things that you might be doing on your holidays. And so, activities based outfits in addition to dinner outfits and workout outfits and that kind of thing. That's such a clever way. I never thought about categorizing things like that. And I love that you've got your kids and your husband on board with this. I'm like, hey, if you can manage that, that is a winning strategy right there.
They still overpack, but they're a work in progress. It's all good.
That's right. One day at a time. So in terms, now that we know what we're packing, do you have any tips for organizing? How do you, this is one of the things I do. How do you avoid getting to your destination, you get to your hotel room, you open your suitcase, and then you go, oh shoot, how was I going to pair all this together? Because that's me. I think I have a plan when I'm in the comfort of my home, and then I get there and I kind of go, oh no, what am I going to, I feel like I'm missing pieces, and all of a sudden the things I thought were going to work aren't going to work. Do you have any strategies to avoid this?
Yes. So it's interesting. I'm glad you mentioned like other types of vacations. So I was thinking like last year when we went to Italy for spring break and we were doing all kinds of different things. Like there were, days of just like walking and touring and all the things. And I would snap photos of the outfits that I was going to wear on each day beforehand so that I knew, exactly what to wear. And I didn't have to think about, oh, how am I going to pair this stuff up when I get there? And that was a vacation where I really did a lot of mixing and matching and reusing pieces. Like I wore my jeans multiple times during that week. I wore my sneakers multiple times. And would just change out, like I would do some graphic tees and some blazers with them. And it made it much easier once I got there to kind of just pull up those photos. I actually put the outfits on. You can either just lay them out on the bed and snap a photo of them if you don't want to put the whole thing on. But for that vacation in particular, I wanted to try everything on, make sure it all looked right together. And then I snapped the selfie and had those on my phone so that I could just scroll through each day and say, oh, here's my outfit. I know what I'm going to wear. And, really just think through too, are you going to have access to laundry facilities? On that vacation we did. But typically when we go to the beach, we don't. So you have to think through with your reuse, how many times max can I wear a pair of jeans before I feel like I need to wash them? And really just take that into consideration when you are creating a packing list. I like to create like little mini capsule wardrobes whenever I pack and keep those things in mind for sure.
She likes to create mini capsule wardrobes, folks. Is anybody surprised here?
Shocker.
I think, I don't know. One of the things that I have, and hey, maybe this says something more about me, but one of the things that I have noticed in our community is I think people wash things more often than they have to be. I have this theory of like, it's my double S theory. If it's not stained or it doesn't stink, I'm not washing it. And I'm curious, right? Like, I'm curious how much, we talk a lot about, the quality of items isn't the same as it used to be. And generally speaking, I think that can be true a lot of the time. But also, the other thing that's going to preserve the longevity of your pieces is don't wash them when they don't need to be washed. Like all the agitation and friction that happens in the washing machine and in the dryer, that's also going to really impact the lifespan of your clothing. So again, if it doesn't stink and it's not stained, don't wash it.
Yes. And don't dry it too. If you do wash it, if it is something like oftentimes a lot of things, especially from the first wash, I'm always really hesitant to throw it in the dryer. So I keep hangers, and we have a rack in our laundry room, and I will hang things on the hangers and let them air dry in there. And that definitely keeps them looking good way, way longer.
For sure. Love that tip. Okay. What about, we're talking like gadgets and hacks. Do you have any packing gadgets or hacks that are making your life easier? Any tools that you use? Anything? Is your husband adopted any of these tools? Like what are the Allison pro tips that we need for traveling?
Okay, so my favorite is packing cubes. I am obsessed with packing cubes. I probably have 12 at this point in time, and everything gets put into a category, and that category gets its cube. So it's got like the pajamas, the workout clothes. Like I'll even take my workout outfits with the sports bra, the socks, the shorts, the tank, like everything goes into the packing cube and it's in there. And then when I get to my destination, I just unzip them and put them in the drawers. I don't even take them out of the packing cubes. I leave them in there and just use things as I need to, and then put them into like a dirty clothes laundry bag. So that's my favorite one. I'm obsessed with packing cubes, and it just keeps everything just so neat and tidy. When you open up your suitcase, everything is exactly where you put it. It's not all bunched up. And my other tip, and I learned this one from Craig, actually, my husband, is that for anything that hangs, I keep it on my thin velvet hangers. If I don't have a really big restriction on weight in my bag, my dresses, my shirts, I just take my velvet hangers, all of the clothes, I fold them over one time and put them in the side of the suitcase that has the little bungees that holds things together. And when I get there, I pull them out and hang them in the closet. And it's just such an effortless thing to do. And they stay pretty much wrinkle free for the most part, although I don't really buy clothes that wrinkle, which is kind of a weird little thing, but I try not to. But yeah, it works like a charm.
Oh, I love that tip. What about like tech gadgets? Do you have anything for your technology?
I do. I have a little zipper case I found on Amazon that I can keep all of my chargers and cords in, organized, my AirPods, everything. And it's just a little case that opens on both sides and has little slots for all kinds of doohickeys that come with all the tech gadgets.
Right? Every gadget has its own doohickey now. I love what you shared about packing cubes. I also use them, and I noticed I'd be packing up for a trip and I'd be like, I swear that this set included a bag that was like about this size, and then I look up and my husband has it on his side of the bed with his suitcase. And I'm going, wait a second. So I actually bought him his own set of packing cubes last year. We'll make sure I'll link mine in the show notes. And Allison, I'm assuming you have yours are linkable as well. Maybe we can throw those in the show notes for our listeners at AllisonLabatis.com/podcast. But I love the tip, like you said, about just like opening them up and setting them in the drawers at your destination. You don't actually even have to take them out of the cube. That's a game changer for me. So thank you for that one. Now, we talked a little bit about wrinkles, but I don't know if you have any tips, because you said, generally speaking, you don't buy clothes that are prone to wrinkling. I was going to ask, do you have like a travel steamer? Are you more of, I know some people just hang an item in the bathroom and then like turn the shower on for 10 minutes, let it get steamy and hopefully release some of those wrinkles. Are we using a wrinkle spray? Are you just not experiencing wrinkles because you don't buy those clothes? Where's your head at on wrinkles?
Yeah, I usually look for fabrics that don't wrinkle easily. So I would say kind of anything that has a little bit of stretch to it is usually a good option for me. I have a travel steamer, but I've never taken it with me. If we do need to iron anything, there's usually an iron wherever we travel to. So I don't really have an issue with that. But for the most part, for me, if something isn't really just noticeably like, wow, that's bad, that's really wrinkled, I just leave it alone, which is funny because Craig is the polar opposite of that. He irons everything. He irons his t-shirts every day. He irons his jeans. He irons his shorts. Like, he is so obsessive about wrinkles. And I think I drive him crazy. And maybe it's like a little bit of rebellion. Like, I'm going to show my wrinkles today.
Oh, I love it. That's hilarious. One of the little hacks that I've done before is, and this is, I don't know, this is probably, you know what, maybe it's not. I was going to say it's probably not very good for your clothes, but really, I don't know if it's any different than an iron. But I have actually used my hair straightener, if it was just like a collar or like on a button front shirt, sometimes where the buttonholes are can get kind of wavy. And I'll just take my hair straightener and clamp it and just hold it out and just run my hair straightener all the way down. It worked great. So I don't know.
That is genius. Oh, I think I'm going to do that. I'm always looking for, I call them my lazy girl methods of doing things. And that so aligns with with my ethos. Like, I take my straightener anyway. Right. So, and I don't want to fully iron things. So
right.
I'm definitely stealing that tip. Thank you. So good.
Okay. I love that. And also I feel like that should be a recurring segment on the podcast. What do you call it? Lazy girl methods?
Yes.
There we go. We'll have to let them pile up. We'll make a list and we'll be back for a coffee chat segment all about Allison's lazy girl methods. So I have one more question for you. This is just for fun, no judgment. We're not throwing any shade here, but I feel like there are two types of people in the world, specifically arriving home from vacation. One is the unpack as soon as they get home person, and the other person is like suitcase hangs out for days or more after you get home and you're just pulling pieces out as you need it. And eventually, whenever the fit is upon you, you will unpack the whole thing, but it hangs around for a good long time after you get home. Which of these two people are you?
You have to guess.
I think you're the second person, and I think Craig's the first person, and I think you drive him crazy for it.
I'm the first person. The minute we walk through the door with the suitcases, yes, I take them straight to the bedroom, throw it on we have like a bench at the base of our bed, open it up, and I cannot relax until every single thing is back in its place. And I'll tell you what, years ago, I wasn't always this way. Like, I could go either way. I never would leave it for days. Maybe I would leave it till the next morning, especially if it was like an international trip and we were getting in at some crazy, ridiculous hour. Then I would say, I'm going straight to bed and I'll do this tomorrow or whenever. But did I read this book or did I hear her in an interview? Okay, so Maria Menounos, I think she used to be on the Today Show. Anyway, I think I saw a clip of her. She had this book about travel, and she said, like, the biggest tip I can share with people is unpack as soon as you get home. It takes no more than 15 minutes, and it just removes that mental fatigue of knowing that this is the thing you have to do. And I was like, you know what? She's right. It's 15 minutes. You get home, you do it, it's done. And from that moment forward, I don't care if I get in at 3:00 in the morning, I'm unpacking that suitcase. What about you, Lauren?
Oh, you know what? I think I'm a 50-50 person. Sometimes I do it right away as soon as we get home, and sometimes it lingers for like probably a week, if I'm being real. And I pull out the things that I need as the week goes along. And then, when the next weekend rolls around and be like, okay, it's time to deal with this pile on the floor. Yeah, real talk. Just being honest. Well, now I feel like I owe you an apology, but
Not at all.
All right, I haven't offended. I'm curious to know, is Craig the first person too, though?
He is. Yes. We are both the first person.
I love that.
That's so on brand for him.
Absolutely. Well, we talked a little bit about the decision fatigue and the overwhelm that you are preventing by unpacking as soon as you come home. I know this is actually a recurring theme and topic in your interview today with Robin. So are you ready to share this episode with your listeners today?
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to dive into this one. It's so good.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Allison.
Thanks, Lauren. And now here's my conversation with Robin. Well, hello, Robin. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I am so excited that you agreed to come on here and talk to me a little bit about your style goals and struggles, because you reached out to me on Instagram with this really thoughtful comment on one of my posts, which we'll talk about in just a second. But first off, I would love if you could give us a quick little intro for our listeners.
Sure. So I'm Robin Bro. I'm 53 years old and I am a former nurse. I am a mom of one. I'm a small business owner. I'm now working with my husband. I'm a supply chain recruiter. I know probably no one knew what supply chain was before COVID, but everything that's wrong with anything, it's a supply chain issue. So I am in that point in my life where I'm finding Robin again. My son is going off to college and I'm trying to figure out me. And I'm also going through menopause, or I've been through it. I've been through it. I am through it. It's still happening. I don't know, but I'm learning how to dress the body I have today. So that's a little bit about me.
I love that. Yes, lots of transitions going on in your life. You shared that your son is graduating soon, which is super cool and exciting, and also a new chapter that's opening in your life. So I'm excited to chat with you today. I loved reviewing your pre-show application and looking at some of your photos that are relating to your style story, which we'll get into in a bit. But let's talk a little bit about that comment that you left on Instagram. Would you like to share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think my comment was about saving things. I tend to save clothing. I have no doubt where that comes from. My parents divorced and my mom was really, single mom who everything we bought, everything we had, it had to be saved. If it was nice, it needed to be saved because you didn't know when you were going to have extra money to buy those extra, pair of shoes or a nice outfit to go out. So everything was saved and ironed and washed and shoes were cleaned. I remember cleaning my sneakers with soap and water, so they would look new. And I think that that's just so ingrained in me now that I don't want to wear that because I might need it someday and I won't have it, or I won't have the funds to buy it, even though I'm not in the same position as her. But it's been a hard thing to sort of move from, because sometimes by the time I go to wear that item, either I don't like it anymore, it's out of style. And I think to myself, how silly are you that you didn't take those opportunities to wear it, that it would make you feel so good and you let it sit in the closet and you wore something that you didn't really care about because it wasn't the good thing. So I just speaking with you, just having these conversations even just having conversations with myself before I came on the show, I started thinking, wow, I know where all this comes from now and I understand it.
Yes, that awareness sometimes is the thing that is kind of like that mindset shift for us to get into a different space around things like this. And I do hear this from a lot of women. I get a lot of DMs from women saying, one of my big style struggles is just not wearing the things that I have or saving the nice things. And, I think we do it with a lot of things, right? And not necessarily just with clothing, but
we hear, people talking about, I want to burn the nice smelling candles or use the good china or all those things. And sometimes we feel guilty for doing that, or we feel like we have to save those things and instead of using them. So I'm really excited to dive into this a little bit deeper. And you had shared with me also that you want to stop feeling guilty about wearing certain clothing and to learn to buy things that you can wear in multiple ways. So you want to learn to spend more on those key items, yet have less clothes. So tell me a little bit more about that. I cleaned out my closet last year and I got rid of 10 bags and I am still cleaning it out. I don't even know what's left in there or what's left to get rid of. I feel like I have so much clothes, but not the right clothes to wear or not the right clothes for my lifestyle. I feel like I can continue to clean out my closet and I don't know. I'm afraid to throw things away, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm afraid that I'm going to throw something away and I'm not going to be able to afford to buy it or to replace it, that I'll want it later. So I hold on to things that I'm not wearing or I don't need. So I've been pushing myself. And I think you posted the other day to put 5 items in a bag and kind of just wait and see what happens. Do you look for them? Do you go for them? And I have 5 items that I haven't worn in forever. And I kept looking at them saying, I need to get rid of those shirts. I'm not wearing those shirts. Why am I saving those shirts? So I finally put them in a bag and they're sitting in another closet and I'm continuing to push myself. I would say the happiest I ever was with my wardrobe was when I was pregnant. I bought key items. I bought things that I could mix and match. And I didn't have a lot, but if it was perfect and I wasn't in overload every time I went into my closet, I wasn't in decision overload. And I think about that, like, why do you need 10 pairs of jeans? I counted this morning for you. I have 30 white shirts, long sleeves, short sleeves, and those are the ones that aren't in the wash. So there's definitely this excess too that's happening. And I think simplifying my life would make it easier. I changed 5 times today before I got on your show. And my husband said, oh, it's just like a date night. And I said, yeah, that's true. Because I will change. And by the time I've changed, my hair is crazy. I look crazy. I feel crazy. So I just would love to get to that. I think it's about peace, finding peace with that portion of my life.
Definitely. Yes. Peace with less stuff, right? And during your pregnancy, you were able to sort of curate a capsule wardrobe of the staples that you needed and of those heck yes items that we talk about, where when you put them on, you know that they make you feel great, and really just wanting to get back to that space and allowing yourself to let go of the things that are creating the noise, that are creating that decision fatigue for you, yet also having this mindset of not being willing to let go of those things because you may not be able to replace them. So we've got a lot of great stuff to work with here. So much good stuff. So in your application form, we ask you for 3 words that come to mind for you when you think about style, fashion, and getting dressed. And I loved yours so much. They were fun, sexy, and creative. I love this positive mindset here. You were so clear on these things that I could just like picture this in my mind. And then when you sent me your pictures through, I could see some through lines in there, which I want to talk about later as well. But tell me a little bit more about those 3 words and why you chose those.
I feel like I'm a fashion chameleon. I feel like my body is my canvas. I can't draw, but I feel like my body is my canvas for creativity. And it's so interesting how your mood can dictate what you want to wear and how you can put something on today that you look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, that looks awful. And then a week from now, you put it on and you feel great. I don't understand why, but it does happen to me. But I love all parts of fashion and style. I love how it makes me feel. I got to tell you, I love going on vacation because I feel like I'm limitless in what I want to wear. You know, I live in a New England town. It's conservative. I often feel like I go out and I don't know if what I'm feeling is true, but it's kind of like, who are you trying to impress? What are you wearing? Whereas when I'm on vacation, I can wear whatever I want. I don't feel that way. I can get dressed up if I want to get dressed up. And it's so much fun. I think fashion is so much fun. I love jewelry. I love hats. I love when scarves came back in style. I love scarves. It's so fun. Fashion is so fun. And it does make you feel sexy. It makes me feel sexy. To just feel good about yourself, because that's how I feel when I'm dressed the way I want to dress, in something that looks good on me. I feel fun and sexy and uninhibited.
Ooh, I love that word. And I love that vacation freedom, of that kind of anonymity, right? That you get to be whoever you want to be and express that creativity and that fun side. That's so good. So I was reviewing your notes, and you listed that one of your main challenges is that which we already addressed, you save clothing and you have too many clothes that don't go together. Do you feel like it's mainly a function of this overwhelm because you have too many pieces in your closet, or where is that coming from?
I think that I have too much in my closet. I think that, sometimes I get impatient, and if I go out and buy something, I don't always take the time to make sure that I want it now. Is the fit really the right fit? Maybe I don't have the money to buy it, or as much as I want to, maybe it costs more than I really want to spend on it. So I'm buying something that's cheaper, but in the long run, I'm buying 5 pairs of jeans because I'm trying to get that right fit, instead of just taking the time to buy that one pair of jeans and really finding that great fit. I'm only 5'1.5 inches, and mostly everything needs to be tailored, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. So I think sometimes, I'll make that TJ Maxx run and I'll buy something, and then later I'm putting it in the bag to give away or just to resell. So I think things like that could really change for me. I need to change those things about myself.
Definitely. Really just finding, again, those heck yes items that when you put them on in the store, for sure that that's the one, and you're not settling, is really the difference maker when it comes to longer term feeling satisfied with the pieces that you have. So you said that you don't want to feel bad when you wear something that you've deemed an item that shouldn't be worn all the time. So can you tell me a little bit more about this challenge and maybe some examples of some of those pieces that you are saving?
I have this great dress that I bought. I was on vacation in Charleston, South Carolina, and it's gorgeous. And I wore it down there and I felt great in it. And I have not worn it since, because I don't know why. I'm saving it still saving it, even though I'm pushing myself not to save things. I don't know why I'm saving it. I don't know why I feel bad about wearing it. And sometimes I think I buy things that maybe don't suit the climate I'm in. I think that's another issue. I live in New England. Sometimes I get dressed in a great outfit. I step outside. It's raining. I'm in suede shoes. I need to change. Or I have, a great blazer on and a shirt. I can't fit my jacket over it. So the things I want to wear, I sometimes can't because of, weather, or just really where I live. Sometimes I feel like I'm dressing too over the top and I need to tone it down, which I think at 53, I'm starting to not really care at this point. I want to wear what I want to wear and not really care about what everyone else thinks.
And I think that part of the reason why maybe you reached out, and in some of the responses that I'm seeing in your application, is that at some point in time, that friction that we feel in that space about wanting to really just authentically express who we are is one of the gifts of getting older. And I'm over 52. I'm also going through menopause. I'm also entering that empty nesting phase, and can really just relate to a lot of the statements that you've made around this, and really just wanting to own that authenticity and the way that you show up in the world and the way you present yourself and the way that you dress. And it's a beautiful phase of life and a great place to start embracing this. So again, just so excited to talk to you about this. I've so many ideas, but let's talk a little bit about the main issue you summarize is that the clothes that you have don't fit, feel good, or work for your lifestyle. We touched on lifestyle a little bit earlier, but in what specific ways is that has that been a challenge for you?
So I work from home now. So formerly I was a nurse. So I think even just I've gone from, Catholic school uniforms to being a nurse uniforms. And then now I've retired from nursing and now I'm working, my husband and I work together. We're recruiters. And a lot of the times I work from home or I go into the office. And I had a foot injury last year and I had to change all my footwear. I can't wear heels anymore. Certain pants that I was wearing don't work with my lifestyle now, don't work with my shoes. I often feel that I know how I want to look, but I can't get there. The clothes that I'm buying aren't the right clothes that I should, or that not that I should, I hate to say should, but the clothes that I'm buying really aren't the clothes that are making me feel the best that I can feel, I guess. So for a while, I was just staying home and not going into the office because I didn't know what to wear. I was wearing, what do we always go back to? Stretch pants, workout clothes. And I actually said, this is ridiculous. And I did go out and buy some new things, new shoes. I had to stop dressing the body that once was and the shoes that once were. I love heels. I will always love you, heels. Rest in peace. But I'm now a Vionic girl. I'm a wedge heel and I need to embrace that and what that means. And I have to live in my now and not in my what used to be. So I'm growing and changing in this area because I'm finding what I want to wear every day that makes me feel good, that suits my body and suits my lifestyle as well. And those are the things that I'm trying to work through, especially with my foot injury. And thank God sneakers are the saying right now. You can wear sneakers with dresses and anything. And I'm just fortunate that sneakers are having a moment. That's been a struggle for me. And I've kind of been in a place where, like I said, I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't even want to go into the office because every outfit that I thought of in my mind and then tried to put together just didn't work because I didn't have the right shoes or the right jeans that went with the shoes. Jeans to me are I love jeans, but they are a nightmare sometimes. The length, what you should wear, how many different pairs you should have, everything's in bell bottoms and wide leg and what shoes go with each one and trying to navigate how that looks and I'm short and does this look good? And so I don't know. That's a lot of my challenges. I don't know if that answered your question.
Absolutely. No, it did. I love this awareness that you have around the struggles that you are experiencing and all of the moving parts that are involved in this. It's not just about lifestyle. It's about body changes. It's about, adapting to wanting to feel a certain way in your clothing, to express your creativity, your authenticity. And really at the end of the day, it all comes down to how our clothes make us feel. And I think it's interesting that you are experiencing this disconnect. And I can imagine that that's painful to go through that and to know how you want to dress and not feel like you're quite hitting the nail on the head with that. So, I would like to shift gears a little bit to talk some more about your style story, which you did start to share some pieces of that with us, which has been super insightful. But for our listeners who are not yet familiar with this show format, we delve a little bit deeper into everyone's style story because this is a way for us to learn about the influences and experiences that we may have had growing up from childhood to adulthood, honestly, or around the messages that we're hearing around style, from some of our mentors and role models that we may have had, maybe from parents or teachers. And our stories can be shaped by our own choices as well as the external influences that may have been imposed upon us. So I love that you sent through your photos beforehand. That I just was immediately drawn to, I know what photo I'm going to say, the one in the blue coat. I loved that so much. And your commentary around that. And for our listeners, you can check out these photos. They will be in our show notes at AllisonLombatis.com/podcast. But let's talk a little bit more about that. some of the takeaways from these photos that you provided for us was that your style hasn't really changed a lot. The core of what you like is still there, even though the girl has aged and evolved. So that was really interesting. Tell me more about that.
So, I sat here and I looked through old photo albums, and first of all, I kicked myself and said, why did you always think you needed to lose weight? You looked amazing. What was wrong with you? And 10 years from now, you'll be saying the same thing. So that was one takeaway, to really be grateful for where I am. But as I started looking through photos, I just felt like there's just a core style with me that has never changed. I don't know. I've always liked something a little edgy. I love black. I can't get away from black. I do tend to shy away from color. I love black and white and gray. That's what I'm wearing today. I try so hard to go for color, and it's never what I pick. And so, or prints, but the prints that I always pick are animal prints. So as I see myself in those pictures, I just see the same formats, really, just the blacks, just seeing myself in different outfits that really are the core of what I still am today, even though I'm 53 and not in my 20s or 30s or 40s. And I've changed, and styles around me have changed. And I still feel like at heart, I've always had this true style, even though I consider myself a style chameleon. I do consider myself someone who, I wake up and I decide I don't have one specific smell. I go by mood and how I feel. And today, do I feel boho? Today, do I feel edgy? I want to wear a motorcycle jacket, or do I want to wear a blazer? And that's part of what I love about fashion. And that's what I saw in my photos, is that I've always, even though sometimes I don't think I have a style, because I do feel all over the place, but I do. I could see it in my photos that I do have a style that I tend to drift towards. And the blue jacket with the suede blue jacket with the faux fur. I don't know how old I am. I think I'm probably under 10. With the brown wedge boot. I mean, that girl was so unapologetic about her style, and just like, wow, look at me. I've got this. And I probably didn't wear that jacket that much because I was saving it, if I had to guess. I just love the unapologetic nature of that photo. I'm just going to wear what I want to wear, and I don't care. This makes me happy. And I think that's what it really should be about, is what makes you happy.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that it's a signature item, and it just made such a statement. And I could see that. I noticed in your photos that you do wear a lot of black and neutrals, yet you also have those pieces that add interest to your outfits. And I also saw the through line of the edgier pieces, but also some of that fun and creativity that you're bringing into it. You had some great hats. I saw some shiny pants, concert tees. You definitely are not afraid to bring your personality into your style. It's really just about taking, a little bit more ownership of that, and not being afraid to go all in with it. So I would love to hear a little bit about your style role models growing up. Did you have anyone that you looked up to, and how did they sort of shape your style as it is today?
So, I mean, I've got to say my mom. I've thought about this a lot, and my mom loves style. She's 75 years old, and you would not guess she was 75. She still dresses impeccable. Back when I was growing up, she worked full time. She always wore pencil skirts, high heels, and some kind of plain blouse, jacket. And my friends used to say that my mom, they thought she could run in heels because she owned the high heel like no one's business. And I just remember always looking up to her and her style. And I think my whole family, we have a small family, my godmother, my cousin, we all love fashion. We all love style. We're slaves to fashion for sure. My godmother's 76, and I remember her in her tube tops and her short shorts driving her convertible when I was little. And her striped tube tops, those I don't know if you remember those from the 70s. And we all love black. And I don't know where that comes from. We're Portuguese in lineage. My grandmother, when my grandfather died, she wore black all the time after he passed, as that's what you did. And I don't know if that just rubbed off on all of us, but we all wear black. And I think, don't laugh, but the soap operas were always on when I was little. Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital. And that's a lot of what I used to look at for style. And 17 magazine, Cosmopolitan. But I think the true nature of it came from my mom. And you wore a girdle and you wore a slip and you ironed your clothes and you wore pantyhose. So those were my rules of style. You always looked neat. You saved your clothes. But I still think, even though the saving part is probably the most negative, I just got a great foundation in style from my mom and from the strong women in my family.
Yes, you had some amazing role models. I love that so much. So that photo that you showed me was probably, you said you were under 10 years old, but how do you think 10-year-old Robin felt about your clothes and appearance?
Oh, gosh. So I loved fashion even then, even though every day in school I wore a uniform. From kindergarten to 12th grade, I was in a uniform. So really the weekends were the time to wear the clothes that I wanted to wear. A lot of times I missed the mark. I bought this outfit when I was 18. I don't know if you remember the store Merry Go Round, but it was a Betty Boop outfit, complete head to toe. I had a bolero hat and a Betty Boop complete skirt, top, sweater with a tank top underneath. I mean, I don't have any pictures of that, but I wish I did, because it must have been hysterical to see me come out and go out in this Betty Boop outfit. I mean, I don't even know what I was doing at that point.
You were taking chances and having fun.
I was taking chances and having fun, but I think I've always had fun with fashion. In my closet right now, I have a suede fringe vest. It's kind of very Woodstock looking. I pull it out occasionally. I've worn it for a lot of Halloween parties. I want to wear it more, but I don't know where. I've got a crushed velvet jacket that goes to the floor. I love my hats. I've got a purple hat that I'm dying to wear somewhere. I love these like special pieces. I've got a blazer with a patch on the back with a big flower. I just want to wear these really fun pieces more than what I do, and not feel like everyone's looking at me thinking, what is she trying to prove? And I know I shouldn't care about that anymore, because I'm not trying to prove anything. I just love clothes, and I think clothes are fun.
And you just want to be you.
I just want to be me.
I love that. So you said that your mom was a big saver of the nice items, but did you get to shop a lot growing up, or was this?
So we did, but we would shop. There was this outlet in Massachusetts called ABC Outlet. And I remember being in the back of the car with my mom and her girlfriend and feeling just so excited. We would drive up to this outlet. It was, 8:00 in the morning. They had to be there when the doors opened. It was a mad rush of women to get into the place, and you would just have to pick through clothing. It was super cheap. And I think that's what got me on having a lot of clothes. I would have clothes, but I wouldn't have outfits. I wouldn't have things that would go together. I remember having this green skirt with ruffles in the 80s that laced up the back, and I never knew what to wear with it. And I would stand there and put it on, and the only thing I could think of was a black shirt. So I'd wear a black. I always felt like I wasn't buying the right pieces. I was buying fun pieces, but not things that would go together. And I think that's a lot of where it started, was the ABC Outlet and those Saturday drives, and buying just tons of stuff, but having nothing to wear.
And that seems like it's the struggle that is playing out in your life today in a lot of ways. You have those signature pieces that feel really special, but you're not quite sure how to incorporate those into your everyday life, and also to really own wearing those pieces in your everyday life. And you're also struggling with having those right staples in place that you can go back to over and over again in order to kind of start mixing in these signature items. So there's so much to work with here. And I am super, super grateful for the vulnerability that you shared, with us today and your story and your struggles. And I don't take that lightly. So thank you. So I would love to shift gears a little bit now, though, to talk about some of the possible actions that we can take moving forward so that you can start owning your style. And based on our conversation today, it sounds like a lot of those struggles really just come down to giving yourself permission in so many ways. Permission to let go of what's no longer working for you, permission to wear the things that you love, permission to show up in the world the way that you want to, permission to be authentically yourself and really own that creativity in your wardrobe. And again, this is such an exciting phase in your life where you get to say, this is how I want the next chapter to be. And I would love for you just to kind of start to visualize what that looks like for you and, the ways that it would make you feel to step out as that person in what you want to wear. And also finding a way to do that so that it is hitting those marks of working for your lifestyle. And it's really going to boil down to getting those right pieces in place. But really just step one is to allow yourself that permission. And there are so many ways that you can do that. I think experimentation is going to be key for you to trying some things out at home and putting together some outfits, carving out some time like you may have as a teenager to try on some pieces in your closet and pair them up in different ways that feel really good to you. I noticed that something interesting that you shared with me was that you struggled to find full-length photos to share. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I guess that goes to body image and how I feel about myself. I've always wanted to be I've always been small. I have a bust, I have a bottom. I've always wanted to be that pin straight, just like a little stick. And I hide myself when I take photos, or I say, take the photo from, the chest up or just my face, or I'll hide behind someone because I'll look back and think that doesn't look good. I don't look good. That outfit wasn't what I thought it was, or I'm really hard on myself, and I am trying not to be, because this is it, Allison. I'm 53. We're on the other side of it. And if I don't do it now, it's not going to get done. So that's really what my goal is as my son heads off to college, finding myself, dressing myself for where I am at, meeting myself, taking more full-length pictures of myself, and just enjoying me and who I am.
It's beautiful. And I think if you start out taking some selfies, some full-length selfies in the mirror, that it's going to get easier. That is going to get easier for you. And you do have a beautiful awareness around this and this opportunity for acceptance in this phase. And being raised in the 80s, early 90s, having this teen formative years when all the models were stick thin. We didn't have the same types of role models and body image space that girls growing up today do. And having the curvier body at times was it was a struggle. It was a challenge. And I can certainly relate to that and having body image issues around that. And again, this is that opportunity for that acceptance and, really following other influencers too, who have similar body shapes that are similar to yours also helps to kind of shift that perspective for us to acceptance and really just what works for our body shapes too. And seeing, oh, okay, well, this pair of jeans fits her body shape really well. Maybe this is a pair of jeans that would work well for me too. And finding those right role models to be following has really helped me personally, but I've heard from a lot of other women too, that we have so many more representatives now than we ever did growing up. But it is so hard to let go of that mindset of having that pushed into our everything. I mean, when we were looking at 17 magazine, it was always the 6 straight, the stick straight girls in there, and it was a lot harder to embrace the curves than it is today, for sure. So I think that one of the most important things that you can do, we'll talk about signature style in a minute, but really just getting a good basics wardrobe in place, something that is similar to what you experienced with your pregnancy capsule wardrobe. Having, if jeans are what works best for you, then maybe having 5 pairs of jeans that work really well in different washes, your light wash, your dark wash, black, gray, and white jeans that you're going to be able to wear year round that fit you great. A good way to do this is by finding one pair that works well for you and then buying them in multiple washes. So women tell me jeans are that unicorn piece that they struggle the most with finding. And when you do find that magical unicorn, you have to take advantage of it. So the first step is that you may want to just clear your closet out of anything that's not a heck yes item. And I understand with the struggles that you're having with letting go of things, this may be more of a gradual process for you. It may be removing 5 items at a time that you for sure don't want to wear anymore. It may be putting them into storage somewhere so that you're not just outright getting rid of them right now. But if 6 months, a year passes by and you haven't accessed those pieces, chances are you never are going to. You can just tape that box up and take it to the donation center or go to Clothes Mentor or Plato's Closet or somewhere to get rid of those items. But really just releasing and letting go of those pieces will have to cut down on that decision fatigue so that when you do walk into your closet, you don't feel like you're overwhelmed with all of the choices. And by cleaning out your closet as step 1, then you're able to intentionally fill in the gaps in your wardrobe and you're able to assess, do I need more basics? Do I need, better fitting jeans? Do I need to replace my t-shirts? What are the pieces that are actually missing? It's hard for us to view what the gaps are when we have so much stuff overwhelming us. So really just going through that closet clean out and being ruthless with it this time and putting it somewhere else, out of sight, out of mind, just remove it from your closet. It may feel safer to you to do it that way than to just outright get rid of everything, but it will also allow you to see that approximately 20% of what we have in our closets at any given time are what we're actually wearing. That other 80% is just in there creating noise, creating decision fatigue, and not allowing you to see what you actually need. Then once you do that, you can create a list. You can keep it on your phone so that when you are out shopping or you are looking online or you are following these influencers or whatever, then you can say, yes, that is a piece that I do need to fill in the gaps in my wardrobe. And you can more thoughtfully shop for it. And this is a curation process. It's not going to happen overnight. Most women tell me it takes them about a year to get from point A to actually having a functional wardrobe that they're happy with. So take your time. Don't put too much pressure on it and make sure that when you try on those items that they are heck yes items. You can snap that selfie in the fitting room and the selfie never lies. If it doesn't look good on camera, it's a no. And if it doesn't make you feel good, that's the more important thing, is really just paying attention to how it makes you feel. And I really think that's the part that you get right. You know how your clothes make you feel and you dress according to that. And I love that you're not locking yourself into one particular sense of style, because that allows you to express that creativity. Like I said, you had the fun hats and you've got these signature pieces. We just need to find ways to incorporate them into your basics. But first off, we need to get those basics in place. So how do you feel about that? About getting the closet clean out done and then starting to focus on getting that good core of basics?
I think that's perfect. I'm not afraid to clean out my closet more than what I've already cleaned out. I do struggle with not knowing. I keep both summer and winter clothes in there at the same time. And I have 2 sides of my closet because when we moved in, my husband took one look at the size of the closet and he didn't even move into the closet. He just went into another room because he said, I'll never fit in there. So I have room for summer, and I've stopped putting things in buckets. I used to put things in buckets for summer and have the closet full. So I'm just whatever's in my closet is summer, summer, fall, winter. So I guess, is it a good thing to have all of my clothes out? I mean, sometimes I'm wearing t-shirts during the winter, so I've kept t-shirts and tanks and everything out. So I have everything kind of color coordinated and in my closet, but I didn't know if I should go back to putting things away for summer or putting it on maybe one side of the closet so it's not so overwhelming.
Yeah, you have to do really what works best for you, but the less that you can have, the better, obviously, because it is going to help you see what you're actually wearing. Now you are going to have those transition seasons, and I like to keep 2 seasons at a time in my closet. So I do spring, summer, fall, winter. And then there's a little bit of overlap that bleeds over between those seasons, but I try to keep my layering pieces that I can kind of wear year round. Those are always going to be in there. And then I pack away, like the heavier sweaters that I know I'm not going to need in the spring, but keep the lighter transition cardigans and blazers and things like that, so that there is a little bit of blurred lines in there. It's not going to be kind of like a hard and fast rule. But again, you have to find kind of what's going to work best for you. And if you know that these are pieces you're reaching for year round, it's absolutely fine to keep those in your closet year round. And if you have that luxury of being able to say, this stuff on this half of the closet, these are things I'm not wearing right now, that also helps with that decision fatigue, because you'll go into there if you need something specific that is not with the current season's clothes, but it creates that line of delineation. And I do that too. I have a bigger walk-in closet. So on the back half of the closet, I just take the off-season stuff and push it back there. And then if I need to go access anything, it's still at the ready, but it's not there in my face every morning when I walk in. So that it certainly does help for sure. And how do you feel about, filling in the gaps in your wardrobe, really focusing on the basics that are going to work for your lifestyle right now? If it is jeans, or if you are going into the office a little bit more, maybe it's that mixture of having a little bit more of business casual and pieces that you can mix and match together. Are you struggling with knowing what those pieces are? Or do you kind of have an idea of that? You just need to find the heck yes items to fill in those gaps.
I feel like I know what the pieces are, but I am struggling with the heck yes. I don't have like an overcoat, rain jacket, the trench coat's in right now. That's one thing that is on my list that I don't have. But everything else, I've got some great blazers. I've got the striped shirt. I've got some good tees, black, white. I have all that. It's just more putting it together with the right jeans. I think the jeans, or even an alternative to jeans. I did buy some great linen pants recently, brown and a black pair. But again, I'm waiting to get them hemmed. But again, they're not for the whole year. So I guess I struggle with pants other than jeans that I could wear that are comfortable, and they're not stretch pants that I could wear all year long, except the summer, of course. I don't know if you have any ideas about pants.
Well, linen is so on trend this spring and summer. We are seeing it everywhere. So that is a great option. And I'm seeing more of kind of like looser, flowier pants that you can wear year round. I think that those are another good option. Wide leg pants are very much in style now if you want to try some different silhouettes. You did mention that you're petite, so you can do the flowier pants. You may want to pair them with some wedges if you do want to kind of have a little bit more height with those. But if not, you to get things tailored. A lot of women really struggle with that. And they think that if things don't fit them off the rack, that they're just not meant to find things that are going to work for them. But in reality, you can take them to get them tailored and get really a custom fit, sometimes on an inexpensive item. And it can feel like $1 million, right? When you get the right fit and you get it tailored specifically for you. So I love that you are willing and able to do that. I think that that's super important, especially for petite. But yeah, we're seeing such a wide range of pants. I think that like a paper bag waist would look really good on you. You could do like the looser paper bag waist pants, with pockets, and where they come up a little bit higher, but you could do like maybe a more fitted top with those, and that would be a really good look for you. And you could transition that to work for something dressier too. For like a date night, you can pair that up with wedges. You could put a blazer on with it, or for casual, you can wear it with sneakers or with sandals. So that's kind of an outfit for you that's easy to transition to dress it up or dress it down, that would work on either end of that.
The linen pants that I bought, so obviously I have to get them hemmed. I don't know. Would you suggest hemming them above the ankle, keep them longer? I feel like last year cutting your pants was in. I cut everything. They're like an inch above the ankle. Now things are getting longer. So I don't know. Where are we?
Okay. So it really depends on the shoes that you're wearing with them. If you're primarily going to be wearing flats like sandals or sneakers, then I would tend to keep them a little bit long. I'm sorry. I'm saying this backwards.
I would tend to go a little bit shorter because you can get away with it, right? If you're wearing them with heels, though, then you're going to want to go a little bit longer because the heel is going to make the pant come up a little bit higher. So kind of splitting the difference between the two, if you want to wear them with both types of shoes, is fine. But overall, ankle length pants are very much in style right now. So you can't go wrong as long as it hits right around the ankle bone. When you are getting them tailored, take both types of shoes with you and have them show you, like have them pin it up and then try on both different types of shoes to see which one is going to work best. And if you want them to add a little bit of length, then they can do it. But it's not going to be too long if you have the shoes there that you're going to be wearing with them. So you'll be able to gauge that pretty well. Awesome. Thank you. And I would say lastly that style is a skill that anybody can learn. And you have displayed this beautifully and everything that you've done your entire life. I really, really want to see you lean into owning a signature style for you. I want to see you out wherever you are in your hometown, embracing that little girl in that blue coat. That is my dream for you. And I have a few ideas for overcoming sort of that discomfort that you're going to feel around that. And one of them is to wear things around your house until they feel really comfortable. And then start to wear it out to the grocery store, out to date night, or whatever the case may be. I feel like you have so many pieces that are such a beautiful representation of you, so many unique items that are just like that blue coat. And I want you to have that blue coat mentality and to carry that into your everyday life and to have this be part of that next chapter for you and really just showing the world that you are owning who you are. You are owning what makes you you, your uniqueness, your authenticity, and you are not afraid to show that to the world. And really, it is about how it's making you feel instead of what they think. But I feel like there's just so much power in that and in owning that. So does that feel like something that you're willing to do? And can you think of one item in your closet right now that you could challenge yourself to wear out? I think it was it's almost like a silky material blazer with the patch on the back that has the flower that I've been looking at. It's a cream color, and I have some jeans that I bought that are the same color. So I'm kind of digging that whole unique color or solid color look. So I'm going to push myself to wear that because I bought it, I loved it, and why not? Right. Why not? That's right. You have the things and now's the time. Wear them, enjoy them, have fun in them, feel confident in them, and allow them to be a beautiful representation of who you are. And I just love that you shared your heart with me today. And I so appreciate, again, your vulnerability and sharing your struggles. And I feel like you are so well on your way. It's just a matter now of just taking those actions, just clearing the clutter, being intentional about adding things that you absolutely love that make you feel confident, and then adding in those signature pieces that are Robin and make you you, and stepping out as vacation Robin in your everyday life and wearing those pieces that make you feel great. That sounds great. And I appreciate everything that you're doing and the posts you do. And it's really helpful. Thank you. Thanks again, Robin. I appreciate everything that you shared with me today. And I know our listeners are going to absolutely love your story too. Thank you. I hope it touches at least one person. That would make me so happy. And I just want to say to anyone who's listening, this has been a journey that I've been on for a long time, trying to get to where I am today. And I'm still working through it. And I just would say, just be you and don't give up, because it's right there in front of you. It's beautiful. It's about taking those steps every day, right? It is. Thank you. Thanks, Allison.
I would love to hear your thoughts about today's conversation. Did you see yourself in any part of Robin's story? Are you struggling to find peace with your wardrobe? Do you use fashion to express your creativity, or is getting dressed a purely practical pursuit for you? Let's open a dialogue and connect. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube as Allison Lombatis. And I'd love to hear from you. If you share your thoughts about your own style story on social media, please tag me. I'd love to see it and cheer you on. Remember, you are worthy. Style is a skill anyone can learn. and closet contentment is possible. I believe in you. Thanks for tuning in.